On today's edition of Sunday Funday, wheel bearing replacement. Hey everybody, it's Sunday, March 4th, and I'm out working in the garage today, working on the fiance's Equinox, doing a wheel bearing replacement because she complained to me, hey, I got a really, really loud noise going on. I went with her on the drive, and sure enough, I was like, it's a really, really loud growling noise, and every time you would turn the steering wheel, it would get louder one way than the other, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I've done that before. It's a wheel bearing. So here we are today doing a wheel bearing replacement. I got the old one off already. I was like halfway done with this, and I'm realizing, hey, maybe I should make a video of this. So if you don't know what a wheel bearing looks like, this is the old one. Three mounting holes and a hole there for the axle shaft, your ABS sensor, which is right there, or well, it's technically called a wheel speed sensor, but it's for the ABS system. So this thing is making a lot of noise when you're going down the road at highway speed. And not only is it annoying, it can be very dangerous because eventually the bearing will fail, and it could come apart and cause a whole lot of other problems. So, I'm going to be putting, here's the replacement I got. Ordered it online. I'll let you guys know later in the video where I got it from and how you can get pretty cheap wheel bearings too. And actually pretty good wheel bearings too. But alright, let's start putting this back together. A one-man show, so you're only going to see this in bits and pieces. You ain't going to see the entire process, but I've got to hang it back on the car. These are the bolts, and there's 3 of them, and they go in brown here from the back side. I got 2 of them started ready to kind of hold it on there. And I kind of got the axle shaft kind of started, so everything kind of fits nice and snug together there. And this is also it's a backing plate. It's kind of supposed to keep the dust and mud and stuff off the brake rotor. Then over here on the front side, of course, the caliper hangs, which is right there, being supported by the box that the wheel bearing came in. So there's no stress on this brake hose, because if there is stress on that brake hose, it could, pull it out of the crimp right there, and also fatigue it and cause a whole lot more problems, like brake failure. So that's not good. So I'm going to finish tightening this up, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Son of a bitch, I tore my hand panty, but it's in. Everything's all tightened down and snugged up, and now I got the axle shaft. This is what it looks like back here, this big boot here. This all slides in there like that, and I'm going to put the nut on it and torque it down to specs. You do not, and I will repeat, do not want to put that on with an impact, because speaking from personal experience, that I put a wheel bearing on once on a Grand Prix that I used to own. I used the impact to spin a nut on and snug it up. Well, guess what? In about, I want to say 20, 30,000 miles down the road, the bearing failed again because I had tightened the shit out of it. So do not use an impact on here. Use a torque wrench. Okay, so I put the axle shaft in. I got the nut on it. I did not, it's still loose yet. I'll show you. So it's just on there, holding it there. I'm going to put all this back together. Then I'll torque that down, because I got to look up the spec for it. I thought I had it written down, but I can't find it, so I got to look it up. So I'm going to put it all back together, starting with the brake rotor. And so I'll throw it on here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the brake rotor's back on. That was pretty easy. That just slid right on there. Now, this is the funny part here. It's held on to the wheel bearing hub assembly with this little screw. Now, when I was taking this thing apart, I was kind of beating away at this brake rotor here. I was like, why in the hell isn't this coming off? Then I saw this underneath the rust. I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I pulled this screw out and fell right off. So now I'm gonna put her back on here. Like that's where it goes. So I'm gonna put that on quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are, kind of pretty much back together. I took this caliper off all as a complete assembly here. There's just 2 bolts right there, one on top, one on bottom. Then you pry with a pry bar to kind of loosen the caliper, or release the caliper a little bit, so it'll just fall right off. Then you put it back on, bolt it down, and you're ready to go. Now, if I were going to do brakes, doing a brake job on this, there are these bolts right here, 2 of them. Take them out, then the caliper would come off. Then you pull the pads out, then you would replace them. But then again, if you're gonna gotta resurface or replace the brake rotor, then you gotta take this bracket off anyway. But so there's how you do that. So now I am gonna look up the torque spec on this nut, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I got my handy dandy snap-on torque wrench out. 151 foot-pounds is the spec. So I got my huge ass socket on. So we're gonna put this bad boy on here. Right here. Alright. So I'm gonna kind of finish tightening it up. Okay, it's snug up. Now we gotta apply pressure to hear the beep. Right, there we go. I don't know if you heard it or not. That was the beep. I'll do it again here. There we go. She's torqued. We're ready to go. Just put the wheel back on and take it for a test drive and make sure we're good to go. And all right, so I'll catch y'all back in a minute here on the test drive. So be back in a little bit. So here we are going down the road. That growl is gone, thankfully. So I did my job. All the rattling you hear in the background here is her semen tank and all that stuff that she carries around for breeding. So it should be good to go for a while until the next one fails. I guess I should have took some footage of it before I started on how loud it was, but oh well. There you go. It says right there in the box. So did you guys like that hand panny bit? I learned that from watching Cotton Top 3. He did a video on changing oil on his John Deere 5075E tractor, and when I heard him say that, I just busted out laughing. I thought that was funny. I was like, I gotta use that bit in one of my videos, so I did. So I got that project done, and now another day I'll fix the fender. So that being said, I'm gonna end this video here because I'm ready to go take a shower. So thanks for watching. Please check out all my other videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. See ya.